Well, well, well. This is one of the things I hate the most about mystery shows is when they introduce a character 2 or 3 episodes before the finale, the character that has been present the whole season, that has been behind all the evil, all the bad things happening, that we couldn't have possibly guessed it was her. Like, what is the point of a mystery show where the audience is just a spectator anymore? We couldn't have guessed it was her. We didn't even know baby girl had a child. We didn't even know baby girl was a baby girl until the last scene of the last episode. Hello, my name is Jo and I review all of your favorite TV shows on this channel. I am currently doing Yellowjackets, Severance, The White Lotus, and I'm also kind of starting with some true crime, which I thought they were murder mysteries, but they're true crime. And it's Good American Family and Happy Face. Both of these TV shows kind of seem to have a different approach to true crime. Let's see if they accomplish it. And if you like my reviews and you want more content, I have extra exclusive reviews on my Patreon twice a week, every week. So join me there. I'm reviewing The Pit and some murder mysteries as well. If you like that stuff, if you like social commentary for The Pit, I'm your person. Now about Yellowjackets, we have the revelation of who is behind all of this business. The phone, the car brakes, the freezer, and now the videotape. The person behind all of this is Anna's daughter. And I know what you're asking, who the hell is Anna? Yeah. Anna is the researcher. Turns out those 2 hikers were not hikers and were not just 2 people. Those hikers were scientists. They are from a university, probably close by, and they are in that forest to research a group of frogs. First off, thank you, show. Thank you. Thank you for showing us evidence that these screams the girls are witnessing in the forest are just frogs and not the spirits of the wilderness. Thank you. But yeah, these researchers are here with a gunman to protect them, guide them. Apparently this man is like very familiar with the wilderness in those areas, so he knows where to take them. He knows how to get out of there, importantly. So when we see the last episode, we don't see the guide, but now we see that there are 3 people. And I mean, it wasn't even a surprise. We all knew what they were going to do. We all knew it. We all knew they were going to follow them and kill them. And I mean, Lottie, baby girl, you need some meds. You need to get back to society and get back on those meds. For real. Lottie just comes from behind and axes the guy in the head. Lottie, girl, you can't do that to people. But yeah, the conversation that I was having with you guys about this in my last review, that maybe the girls didn't really want to get back to society, is in full swing, because Lottie does not seem like she wants to get back to society. Ty is kind of, The only 2 people that seem to truly want to get back to society are the guy and the girl. What's, Aquila, and I forgot his name, the guy. And I mean, let's address this right now. I don't remember from the show if they ever mentioned this or if we ever find out about this, but do those 2 people, like the guy and the girl, escape earlier than the other ones? Do they ever return to camp, or do they just follow this guy out of the wilderness? Are they the ones who then come back to rescue them, who send like a rescue team to get them? Because this guy seems to be pretty willing to leave Hanna there, right? He seems like, I don't care. I'm gonna run for my life. You run for yours. So if he's going to like walk out of the wilderness because he knows that place, like he knows how to get out, and he's going to take them with him, isn't it possible that by the time they leave, the guy just goes on his own way? He doesn't tell anyone. He doesn't want more trouble. He just goes to live his life and never talks about it. Yes, but I mean, I feel like if they had been rescued first, they would have been questioned by the police and they would have told them about what happened. I don't think they're actually going to leave like earlier than the girls, or even if they are going to try to follow this guy, if this guy even accepts them or goes with them or like takes them out of the forest, maybe the girls will decide to leave and then eventually catch up to them and still kill him, because we know that everyone who was there is either dead or them. So the guy with the crossbow has to die one way or another. I think what's most plausible is that they just take him back to camp and force him or try to force them to take them out of there. But I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows that they are going to try to get rid of him, to get rid of the evidence of what they did. Because by this point, even Shauna says it, like, we can be rescued. We can still be rescued if we kill them, and we can still be rescued as innocents because no one will know what they did. And no one does know what they did, because we know that in the present timeline, the daughter and the husband of Shauna, they discussed this, the possibility that she could have done this. They discussed the news that all those years ago, those 3 people who were there researching that stuff were found dead, and no one ever knows why, and no one ever associated it to the Yellowjackets. So for sure, they are going to kill them, and they will never tell anyone because they don't want to be, prosecuted for that, for being murderers. So that's pretty much what happens in the past. They just chase baby girl through the forest until they catch her, and the recording is left hidden in the rocks. Now, we learned that Melissa and Jen were close to Hanna, got really close to Hanna during her time in the camp. So we know that they will keep her as prisoner for enough time that Melissa and Jen are going to get close to her. So those 2 people for sure will find out about the recording. They are the ones who are going to potentially go back to that place and retrieve the recorder and the cassette tape, or whatever you call those tapes. We only know that Melissa and Jen are dead. We don't know when they died. So potentially at least one of them could have been rescued and died in the meantime. But before she died, she could have delivered the tape to the child, or something like that. This is what I was theorizing in my previous review, right? That they were going to stay in the wilderness for a while, that we would see a time jump and we would still see snow again. Because by the point we see them in the first episode of the first season, they are pretty mobile in the snow. They know how to walk in the snow. They have adjusted to the element. So I think it's still plausible that even if they are in the snow, they either hike their way back or they get rescued. But if we do go back to the snow, if we do have a time jump and we see them, chasing people through the forest to eat, I think it's more plausible that they would be rescued. I think if they get to that point, they are in a mental space where they wouldn't want to leave the wilderness, where they have adjusted to living there. But that's what I'm most curious about at this point, to be honest. I kind of just want to know if they will leave soon, they will trek their way into civilization, or if they're going to stay there and live another winter through that. At least they now have some more information, because they don't have the phone is broken, but they for sure have the map. They have more tents, they have more supplies. Oh, and speaking of supplies, yeah, they are from the same people that left the supply boxes, and it's a university, probably a research institute in a university that researches these frogs and leaves the supplies there for future researchers to use. But you see, the girl Hanna goes back to the camp because she's like, I know where we have more supplies, I can take you there. But then the supplies are not there. The supplies are in the cave. And, I was finding it weird that the girl who was in the cave didn't tell them about the hot chocolate. But I mean, she's going to have to now, because they're going to ask her about it. So she's going to have to say that the supplies are in the cave because Ben found them and took it to the cave. And they will be able to go in there because Ben lived there. So there has to be a way to go there without being victim to the gas. The magic gas. But I still think there will be a time jump, because if there is enough time for Melissa and Jen to get together or to get close to Hanna, like a few weeks at least have to go by. So I feel like we will see winter again. And that's why it says one of the episodes is full circle or something like that, is because we will see them hunting in the snow. And what we also find out from the new information of these researchers is that they are not that close to civilization. Like, they are close enough that they could hike out of there, but they're not that close. Like, if they don't know the terrain, they can get lost. So that's the past. And for the present, well, it's a mess. It's a mess because Van's cancer is clearly back, and that's what the hallucination was about, and she's still having other hallucinations with Dark Ty. And then Ty is a mess, considering sacrificing someone for Van to live, sacrificing someone to the spirits that do not exist, that don't exist. And then we have goddamn Shauna apparently being the villain of the season because the show wants us to believe that she killed Lottie and is ready to kill again. No, she's not. No, she's not going to kill the daughter of Hanna. There's no way in hell she's going to do that. Either her family is going to find her, or her friends are going to find her, or Misty is going to call the police. The idea that we are supposed to see Shauna as a villain because we're seeing her as a villain in the past. But one thing I will say is, I don't think this show is going to end with any of them alive. Like, I think the very ending of the final season, which I think is going to be season 5, is going to be with the death of the last girl. We've lost Natalie, we've lost Lottie, we're losing Van. I think that's where this is going. Like, we get to see the full circle moment of everything they went through in the wilderness, how they survived, but they were still living in the wilderness. Even when they were living in civilization, the wilderness was in their goddamn heads. And the only way that they're going to have peace is in their deathbed. That's what we're going to see until the very last episode of the very last season is going to be the very last girl dying. That is all I have for you today, guys. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, check out my Patreon, and come back tomorrow because I might have a little theory about the White Lotus. Bye, guys.